Hello everybody and welcome back to The Legend of Dragoon. My name's Cody, and in the last exciting episode we've discovered Claire, Hashel's daughter, or maybe more accurately we discovered a hallucination of a Claire from 20 years ago who Hashel has to face off against, because what's been happening here in the moon, which is the final dungeon, is that people have been faced with their own their own insecurities, their own fears, their their internal issues. Miranda had to deal with her mother who abandoned her as a child and had to decide in the end whether or not to forgive her, which I decided on yes, not necessarily because Miranda's mother deserved to be forgiven, but because, and this is just my personal philosophy, that the one who was suffering from Miranda not forgiving her mother wasn't her mother, who's already dead. It's Miranda. And if Miranda moves forward and doesn't have to worry about that anymore, then that's what's best for Miranda, I think. So that's me thinking a bit too deeply into a video game. But those are the kinds of moral questions that it starts giving once you're here in the moon. So if you've been following this fight as well, what's happening here is that Claire, oh look at this, I think she yells destroy the four gods, but you never know, because the voice acting in this is not always the best. It sounds sort of like she was saying destroy the poor guy as well. That was also one of the things she could have possibly been saying. So Claire here we haven't actually seen her much throughout the game, only in a couple of small cutscenes where we don't see her doing much. But she's actually instrumental in the lives of several of our party members. Because this is Hashel's daughter, who he's been searching for the last 20 years, because he drove her out when he insisted that she become the successor to his martial arts technique, when she just wanted to live her life her own way. And that's sort of what he's having to deal with here. Is I think that's what this is representing, is the internal struggle of, there's just ordinary Claire, and then there's the battle Claire that he created. That it's not really what she wanted, and now she's now she's just continuing to fight. So yeah, so not only is she Hashel's daughter, but she's also Dart's mother. Dart's mother, who died about 15 years ago because Rose killed her. So you can see all of the internal struggle that Claire's caused, despite not actually appearing much in the game. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with the party members and their emotions and everything, and that's what's starting to come out here on the moon, with everyone facing their internal struggles. And he, rescued Claire so that she was able to be just herself, and in that way he's dealt with his own past, the same way that Miranda has. Now he's come out really, much better off emotionally for it. You can see how close we were to leveling there. He'll probably level up like after one battle or something. Yeah. It's so that's Hashel. Hashel's finally been able to sort of confront Claire, even if it is a hallucination spawned by the moon. That's something more than most people ever get to deal with. Dealing with people, family and friends who they never got to talk to again, and getting some closure. That's the word I was looking for. So Dart sort of looked back and forth between those two for a little while, and they're just staring at each other like, I understand. They're both being able to help themselves, by seeing the past and confronting them. And it's not an illusion exactly. It's, you know. So that's the thing. I say hallucination, but it's not a hallucination. This is sort of gods and sort of that sort of thing we're dealing with, like the power of creation. So it's not exactly the kind of state that you would think about for that kind of, you know, for a hallucination. But it's difficult to describe, isn't it? So now, what we're going to do, I think it's pretty obvious. We've got to go back to the castle. We've got to go back to Bale, the Bale from 20 years ago, which is how we're going to confront Albert's past. I went through the wrong entrance, and now we have to fight an enemy. What is it? Oh good, it's a dragon and a unicorn again. Isn't that fun? Do you know what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do? Run away! For some reason, running away has... Let's try that again. What are we going to do? Run away! That was a good camera angle. Dart ran straight into the camera. So, yeah, it's... I don't... Usually I take on basically any battle, but we are... oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm a bit lost. Where am I supposed to be? Oh, here. Oh, come on, I was nearly through the door. So, we've finished all our additions, and I'm probably slightly over level. So I'm not too concerned, but, you know, just for the sake of it, just because this unicorn keeps popping up, let's give it a proper unicorn burial. Which is to cut off its horn with an axe, probably, and then sell the horn on the black market. And then punch it to death. You know, because why not? Why not punch a unicorn to death? That would be a good motivational poster. Oh, see, after just one battle, Haschel did level up. Why not punch a unicorn to death today? That can be your motivational poster. Hello? You have to see so you can see. You have to see so you see it. Oh, it's you again. Alright, so if we head back through here, this should take us back into the room where you can see was the Bale of 20 years ago to deal with the past of another of our party members, Albert. And so we go through here. I'll be a knight who protects this country. I'll be a respectful knight just like my father and protects this country. So you can see, I think this is Lavitz. I'll be honest, I think this is Lavitz. I think his hair and age should match up, because if it's 20 years ago and he's like, I don't know, this kid looks 5 to 10. And he's like 25 to 30, I think, in the game. So I think that's what that's meant to be. Is we're seeing the child form of Lavitz. Emperor Dole took the throne, and at last we have peace in this country. King Carlo couldn't subdue those bandits. God bless Emperor Dole. Is this country will be reborn? This country will be fine with the Emperor. So I'm... An expedition to the home of Giganta. I'm not sure if this is an alternate history or if this is the real history where at one point Bale was under the... Because I don't remember exactly how it happened that Albert and Dole were competing with each other. I forget the details of the Civil War, but I was under the impression that Albert took the throne and Dole rebelled because he thought he would make a better king. But it might have been the other way around. It might have been Albert that rebelled against the Emperor. Yeah, I need to check up on that, because it's really this part of the game is really interesting. You get a lot of backstory to things that have been hinted at through the game, but never really explored character-wise. This is some of the best exploring of the characters that any of the characters get in the whole game. So we're currently apparently in the sky, which you can tell because, as Mary says, we've got clouds here, even if they're creepy and purple and there's glowing things on top of it, and we're standing on a web in the sky, those do appear to be some form of clouds. So, yeah, this is an interesting area. If we get into a battle, I'll show you, but I think I recall this had a really cool looking battle area. But this reminds me of Emperor Doll. Oh! Just because this colour scheme was purple. That is, oh no, Michael! No, I couldn't have been mistaken. I was with him for more than 10,000 years. Is that your dragon, Rose? It was the vassal dragon, my dragon. So this is something that I don't think has been brought up before in this game. But Rose has a companion dragon. Or had a companion dragon. Because we never saw it through the course of this game. But is it alive? She said she was with it for 10,000 years, so I think it survived into the modern day, but we've never seen it. There's all sorts of questions keep getting raised. Like, isn't it funny when questions get raised at the end of the game, rather than being answered, they just pile on more questions. So the rest of the party's been separated from Dart and Rose, which you know what that means. Dart and Rose are probably going to get into some sort of battle. Why did Rose's vassal dragon attack us? Hold on, is it common knowledge that Rose's vassal dragon was called Michael? Because you made it seem like it was. Some sort of feeling that exists in our heart materializes itself. So that's what's been going on, I think. Is that's why everyone's had to deal with their own internal issues. And in Rose's case, I guess she feels some sort of responsibility. Oh, this place seems like the home of Gigantos. Yes, but this was old Holy Land, long, long ago. Oh good, I hate that sound, because it's the sound of those annoying bandits, I'm pretty sure. Oh, this is the destruction of the Gigantos. Hey, Doll's coming, run! This is when the Gigantos got wiped out. This is a historical event that's also been alluded to, that we haven't heard much about. Oh, here's some classics. Here's those weird horse-looking things that the soldiers used to wear from Sandora. There'll be no one to devastate the Holy Land of the Gigantos, ever. But Your Majesty Doll, we may be too late. If only Your Majesty Carlo gives us permission only if Your Majesty Carlo gives us permission... Oh, come on. Why am I having trouble saying those words? You can read them. He is no longer alive. So you can see this is a turning point in history here. This 20 years ago. So I think this is slightly before, because they were talking about the new emperor in the Castle Bale, but these guards didn't even know that he was dead, so he must have just killed him. A Giganto child? I'm the new king of Serdio, Doll. There are no more people to persecute you. You can live in peace from now on. What's your name? His name is Kongol. Yeah. He has a past that you may have never thought of, because Kongol's been fairly invisible in the party, which I realise that that's kind of ironic because he's the biggest, most obvious member of the party, but in terms of dealing with important moral issues and that kind of thing, Kongol hit his peak at the end of Disc 1 when he decided to join our party, and we haven't heard... Oh, no, not the end of Disc 1. Partway through Disc 2, and then we haven't heard much from him in, like, 2 discs. But this is Kongol, and why he's so attached... Yeah, you can see he's shaking. Why he was so attached to Emperor Doll, why he was so loyal. Doll rescued him. Is that the truth of my Uncle Doll? Yeah, and Kongol has his own personal issues to deal with, so everyone merges into Albert, which is new. Have a look at this. We're controlling Albert because it's really unusual that Dart's not the head of the party. Like the idea that we can See, now Albert's the unreplaceable main party member. That's really interesting. Like, this is like the only point in the game where... Well, it's not the only point in the game where you control someone other than Dart, but Albert becoming the new head party member who can't be replaced, who is at the front of the party, that's really interesting and new. So let's go forward, because there's clearly things for both Kongol and Albert to deal with here in the 20 years ago in the past. Strong leader is required to make equal world. Strong leader needs strong power. So it sounds like Dole was almost an idealist back in the day. It sounds like he got more corrupted over time, possibly. And that there's a bit more to him than meets the eye. Wow, that's been it's been a whirlwind of things so far in this episode. And in the next episode, we're going to find out more about the past of Kongol. I'll see you then.